Hey there, welcome back to Move Mountains Pilates. My name is Jess and this is your 21-day Pilates challenge. Today is all about hip mobility. So don't get too excited because it's not about just stretching. We're gonna work today, your glutes will feel it. We're gonna do a little bit of a workout to improve your mobility through your hips, and your hips should feel amazing after. You do not need any props, but you do need to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. It would really help me out. I would so appreciate if you did, but it's up to you at the end of the day. Anyways, we're gonna start just lying down on your back for some bridges. Getting started again today with some bridges. Feet are parallel, a few inches apart in line with the center of your hips. When you're ready, let's just tuck the tail and roll up. Squeeze through the glutes at the top and then roll back down. Now, the last time we did this, we had a band around our thighs, so you no longer have that added feedback of where your knees are in space. So tune in. Make sure your knees are staying in line with the center of your hips. They're not trying to wobble out or in. Often when I do my bridges, less now, but definitely a couple years ago, when I would bridge, my inner thighs would work a lot, and that's just so that my knees wouldn't open out to the sides anymore. I think now my inner thighs are definitely stronger, so I don't feel them quite as much, but I remember for a while there, inner thighs worked a lot during bridges because I would fight to hold my knees in. So maybe you feel your inner thighs too. Maybe you feel the outer glutes having to work because your knees do want to go in and you have to keep them out. Tune into that. What's going on for you? Maybe it changes on the given day. So how does this feel today, maybe compared to a couple days ago? I always think a bridge is such a great warm-up to get those big muscles firing through the back of your legs and to open up your hips. We spend so much time sitting that it's important to open up through the front of those hips. And especially for today, for our hip mobility workout, this is where we're starting, just opening up through the front of your hips, building your hip extension here. And we'll just go for 2 more. Hold your last one up. Just a quick round of pulses. Dip and lift. Releasing both glutes and then squeezing them together. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll down, hug the knees. Hug them in nice and tight. Maybe rock side to side. Grab the back of your leg. Just take a second to stretch your legs there, maybe bending and lengthening. And then we're gonna roll up to a seated position. Maybe you kind of rock up and down to get there. That's the most fun way to do it anyways. Sit tall with your legs reached out long, and you'll lean back a little with yourself supported on your hands. Whatever way you want to turn your hands to face, just make sure that you're not locking your elbows and sending your shoulders to your ears. For me, I gotta keep my elbows a little bent, otherwise my shoulders do go towards my ears. Now, staying tall, a little bit lean back, lift one leg, lower, change sides. Straight, strong legs, tighten your core, and you might still be feeling your thighs from a couple days ago. Work through that. We gotta keep going. We can't let muscle fatigue stop us, can we? Trying to keep your torso really long and strong. It's okay if you're not lifting your leg up very high. Just make sure your legs are staying straight and strong, and so is your torso. You could even do this from your elbows if that feels better. Just again, watch that you're staying long and strong. Lift as high as you can while staying long and strong. For me, I'm still feeling my quads. I don't know if it's from the workout the other day or from doing a reformer class yesterday, but quads are feeling it, so this feels tight, but that's okay. Last one, and then let's do a little rainbow tap. Lift your leg, open to the side. Lift it up, return to center, switch sides. Trying to stay centered with your torso, building strength and mobility through your hip flexors. and strength through your core. Obliques are working to help you stay centered. Just for 4. We gotta work your hips in all directions. They move in basically all directions, so gotta work them there too. All right, now lie down on your side for clamshells. Knees are bent, knees are forwards of the body with your feet in line with your bum. Find your muscle, reach out of your top hip, classic clam. Just simply opening and closing through that top knee. I like to always slow it down at the top and see if I can go a little bit deeper, getting right into the end range of your external hip rotation. How high can you open without this hip rolling back? It's okay if it's not super high, but pay attention. Can you get up a little higher with each one? Really giving your glute a good squeeze to open that knee. We have 3 more. 2. 1. Pause with your knee open. Now, bring your knees together and stick your foot up to the sky. And then back to feet together with your knee stuck up to the sky. Keep going back and forth. Lateral or external hip rotation into medial hip rotation. Swiveling your thigh within its hip socket to its fullest range of motion. Really, really opening your knee high and then really, really opening your foot high. Try to turn the top of your thigh to face the sky as you go into that external hip rotation. And then top of your thigh faces the floor as you go medial. It's a weird one, but this is your full hip range of motion, so we better work it. That's how we have strong, healthy hips. 3, 2, and last one, keep the foot angled to the sky, the knees angled down. Pulse there. Raise the roof with your toes. Keeping the knee facing the floor, it's not going to be a huge pulse. You'll feel the stopping point. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then put your foot on the floor. Hook it right in front of your bottom knee and use your top hand to guide the knee in and out of a stretch. Whatever feels good. You could always hang out in the stretch longer if needed. And we're going to flip sides. If you need to stretch more, you have control over your pause button. Remember that. Knees bent, feet together, waist tight, classic clams. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. How high can you open your knee while keeping your hips steady? For me, this side definitely feels like I can open more. It's less of a struggle. And I know I felt that before with one of our workouts, I think on week 1 of this challenge. And then when I replayed the video, it was a huge difference between my sides. So I'm excited to rewatch this footage again and see the difference for myself. Tune into your own body. Is there a difference here compared to the other side? Maybe there's not, and that's great. But if there is a difference, that's okay too. It's very normal for there to be a difference. Try 2 more of these ones. And then tap your knees together, bring your foot to the air. Knees open, feet touch together, knees close, foot opens. Spinning through that hip socket in its fullest range of motion. You've got this. Did you realize you were getting yourself into this much burn today? Hip mobility sounds nice, doesn't it? But lots of work. This is why I love the active mobility work. We're improving our mobility while working out. What could be better? Last one, keep your foot up in the air and pulse. Raise the roof with your toe. Keep your knee pointing down to the floor. 5, 4, 3. Shake out any cramps if you get them. Ooh, I definitely got one there at the end. Put your foot on the floor. Open and close your knee. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then take a seat. Let's have a butterfly stretch before moving on. Soles of the feet together, and then lean out over your feet. Try to keep your back straight. Big breaths to get you there. Maybe you do a little rock side to side. One more big breath. And then we still have some more hip mobility work. Now we're gonna stay seated. Feet go a little wider than hip distance with your knees bent. You could have hands behind you supporting you, or you could do this no hands. You're just gonna windshield wiper your knees to one side and let your whole body face that side too, so your hip leaves the floor. And go side to side there. Harder is no hands. You'll have to work through your core and hip flexors a little bit to stay up. Really spinning from side to side. And yes, you will travel forwards on your mat. We are getting closer and closer together. So just scooch back as needed. That's normal. We'll keep going for a few more. Just gently mobilizing your hips in each direction, going both into your lateral and medial rotation. Next, let's stay turned over to my right, your left. So we're all facing this way. That's probably the best way to go about this. Hands go on the floor just in front of your bottom left leg, and your right knee is stuck out to the side of your hip. Now, can you lift your right foot and then lower? Lift and lower. So we're back into your medial hip rotation. The knee stays down, just the foot lifts. You're spinning your thigh inwards into its hip socket. That's going to be easier if you go lower. Maybe you put your elbows on the floor. You might be able to lift up higher, possibly. Upright will be a little harder. Maybe you stay upright with no hands. I usually keep my hands down for this. Always have said that I am very limited through my medial hip rotation, but over the years, I think I've definitely improved it a bit. It might not be the best, but it's definitely better than what it was. So there's hope for you too. Last couple. And then leave your foot down, lift your knee, or try to lift your knee. Can you keep your hip where it is? The hip wants to lift with it. Don't let that happen. Instead, just the knee. It's a very small motion and you're getting really deep into the end range of your external hip rotation. Tiny muscles in there. Working all of the glute muscles today. Try 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then just bring your knee up against your left foot. Try to get your hip towards the floor. It's like your normal mermaid shape. And if you get a hip cramp, just kind of shake it out. I have one. But that's not what we're doing, although that's a pretty good exercise. Maybe I will include that. But for now, knee lifts, kind of a kneeling squat. You'll reach your arms forwards, kind of use a bit of momentum to get yourself up, and then sit yourself down with as much control as you can. Exhale up, squeeze your glutes open through your hips. Inhale, sit yourself down. Now, if that doesn't feel good, you're more than welcome to do regular kneeling squats up and down, or even standing squats, whatever works for you. I know it's a wonky position here, so do what works. Squeezing your glutes forwards each time. And in this weird position, you've got your left leg turned open laterally, and that is getting into your fullest range of motion through your hip. Your glutes really love hip extension and external hip rotation, and you're doing both here. So awesome for building strength in that direction. We'll do 3 more. And this is also why we started with your bridges today, because this is the same sort of motion as a bridge with hips going up and down, hips squeezing at the top, glutes squeezing. Last one. And then staying seated, you could put your hands back on the floor. I'm gonna scooch back so I have more range. We're gonna take your right knee, stick it out in front of you, straight leg, and then take that knee back and behind you. Maybe you can do it with no hands. You can lean around as much as you need to, but try to stay as tall as you can. 3. It's okay if you've got some hip pops and cracks, as long as they don't hurt. I have some. 1 more time. And then sit facing forwards. We have the second side. So let's have knees wide, feet wide. Pivot over to your right side. Put your hands on the floor in front of your right leg. Left knee stuck out to the side in line with your hip. Your foot goes up and down. It's your medial hip rotation. Now notice as you do that, it would be your right shoulder. Is that right shoulder going forwards for you? That's a good sign that your body's compromising through that motion by bending. Can you keep both shoulders wide from your ears? Three more. 2, 1. Now we leave the foot down, we hover the knee. Get that nice squeeze into your glute as you hover, trying to keep your hip down in space where it is. You've got this. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Awesome. Then your knee goes next to your foot. Press yourself forwards and up, and then sit yourself back down. Find a different position if it works better for you. Your 2 sides might not feel the same, so it's okay if you got to do something different on this side. Squeeze those glutes, really open forwards through your hips. We only have another 3. 2. Last one. Sit yourself back down, and then your leg's gonna sweep forwards and sweep back, bending the knee as the foot goes back, reaching the leg straight forwards as it reaches forwards. How tall, how steady can you keep your torso in space? It is a question. Mine's not that steady. I'm swaying around quite a bit to make this happen. And notice if this feels different than your other side. 3 more. It was my right leg side lying that was tighter before. And for me, it's also my right leg that's moving right now that's tighter here. 1 more time. And then just take a seat back into a butterfly stretch. Open up those hips. And breathe. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and and 1, and we'll leave it there for today. You might want to hang out on your mat longer and do some figure 4s, stretch out the hips some more, or just leave it there. How did you like that? Let me know in the comments. Definitely a weird way of working, but it gets into the glutes really good, doesn't it? And how do your hips feel after all that? Do you feel more mobile at all? Let me know. I want to know how you're doing. Give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you again tomorrow for another day of your challenge. You're so close to being done. Have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow. Bye.